Hello! Welcome back to iHeart Board Games. This is the show after the show for Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
It's all over.
Pandemic Season 00.
Yeah.
This is our last episode for this campaign, this series. If you're here on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe. Our friends on Twitch have been with us this whole time, helping us along. Head over to twitch.tv/hardboardgames and you can follow along with the next one.
Yeah, smash those
All that's left to do is add up our final scores.
Yeah.
Apparently, the prologue is not meant to be included. So for succeeding, we have one. Somebody got a calculator?
I can pull up my phone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 85.
7 times 85 is 595.
All right. And then, so that's 85 points every time you succeeded. And then 55 for every adequate. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adequate. So 5 times 55.
5 times 55 is 275.
Okay. And then minus 40 for every time you failed at the beginning of a month.
So that's 80. Because we failed twice.
0 points if you failed the end of a month. We never did.
Yeah, so 0.
25 points for stopping Lion's Tooth. We did.
Yep.
So.
That happened.
25 points for stealing the Medusa genome.
That did not happen.
No.
Mm.
And then minus 10 points for every exposed city. So exposed is this little green right here. So we
Can
have.
we clear some of the board off a little? Are we allowed to kind of see? Well,
yeah,
here
we
it is.
can. We can.
I'll just
clear
kind of put them to the side.
We can clear everything off actually. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
See a little
fine.
If you
better.
wanted any endgame pictures, you
Oh,
I got
I haven't
mine.
taken any
Oh,
pictures
okay.
the whole game, so it's all too spoilery to put on the internet.
I've been recording this whole thing. This whole time.
My followers on Instagram don't. Good Travis.
Play board games.
Thank you. I didn't see that earlier.
It's Travis, I know you don't watch the stream, but it's not a compliment.
No, I don't, so I'm going to take it as
All right. I wonder how many times I missed the satellite burn.
I don't think we did.
I'm sure
I
we
bet
did
there's at least
nothing
once.
wrong. Oh yeah. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 10 is 80.
Oh, I put some.
Hey, yes.
And then contaminated, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Saved us
All right.
what? 10 points in the end there.
So give me 595
Get back on my calculator. Okay, so 595
plus 275
plus 275
plus 25
plus 25.
minus 80
Okay, so that's
Yeah, minus 80.
minus 80.
minus 80
Minus
8
80.
Zero.
I'm just making sure sometimes my
minus 60
Minus. That's because you keep hitting equals.
675.
Is that right? Somebody double check that for me because my
I'm sure it's
That
fine.
sounds good.
675 final score.
All right. Okay, so there's like 5 levels here.
Put it like by
Let
Sydney.
me guess, we're adequate? And we're
There's
completely
5
We are
levels here, and
adequate.
we're in the
Second from highest.
Second
Oh,
from
okay, well,
highest.
good
for us.
good.
What's the 800 plus?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I want to
Wow.
double check our math. I'm bad with this calculator. I want to double check my math. Okay,
The
so
school teacher.
595
The school teacher wants to check her work.
twice.
595
595
plus 300
plus 300
minus 160
minus 160
minus 60.
minus 60. 675. Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted.
We're just barely in that group. We're at the
Okay.
very bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
We're 25 points over.
237.
We're above
Wow.
adequate.
Yeah. I just the teacher and me want to double check my work.
Sure.
CIA evaluation, December 1962. Expectations exceeded. Encountered mild difficulty with certain objectives, but overall a highly commendable performance. Recommendation, retain as field agents for high priority missions.
I resign.
Keep this card in your personnel file. It will become part of your permanent record.
Da 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 da.
Sure, well.
So is that it?
That is it.
Okay, the end. Victory.
Now this is Ronald's big
Yeah, I
prize.
guess victory.
Ronald had to endure not only
So
more
we do
burnt,
have a burnt person
but
here.
also kept us very
Slightly
level-headed
singed.
and kept us going.
The only burnt alias in the game. So I get to open this box that we were told to destroy.
That is your prize.
All right.
That's
So
right.
what would have
I have-
happened if we had gone against orders?
Okay. I'm a little
What is
confused
this?
here.
What is this?
Well, that's the point.
Oh. Right now, destroy the remaining cards in the legacy deck without looking at them.
Oh, wow.
Immediately replace them with this new legacy deck. You're allied with Sabic. Turn this card over.
Side
and
with
continue
Sabic legacy
reading.
deck.
Yes. So this box would have been opened if we'd sided with Sabic.
Gotcha.
That's what would have happened.
So it'll be part of my alternate timeline.
Yeah.
We still would have destroyed all the restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any more doors?
Hey, let's
we
look at
never
that last
opened?
room too.
Oh yeah, let's do that first.
Yeah.
Well, did you want to go through this first, or
Sure.
Let's make it
Yeah,
part
we
of
can
my
do all
alternate
of it.
timeline.
Just
Oh, destruction.
okay?
Yeah.
So it says play it cool.
play it cool. Yep, exactly.
Congratulations. Do you want me to read this out or no?
No, I mean, it's fine. There's
Do we have
many
more-
other playthroughs of this, I'm sure, but at least
Okay.
we can get some answers.
Oh, there are
and
no
just-
more doors.
Yeah. So it
Check
would have
it
been
out.
sabotage the manufacturing facility. It would have been learn about Medusa deployment plan, and then we get a Sabic's briefing. This is what that looks like.
Sabic's briefing, huh?
He's the one talking to us instead.
Mm.
Does he
His-
talk about Coop being alive?
That little deception I created paid off, and they think I'm dead.
Who thinks they're dead?
You told me to skip all this stuff. I don't know. Recover the coda sample.
Ooh, that would have been fun.
Would Coop would have switched? Tell me what you did so far. I'll try to get some answers.
Another sad.
Yeah, another Sabic briefing here. Still have to go into the Medusa genome and do
Oh,
5
she said
cards.
Sabic was killed, and then yeah.
5 cards.
Yes,
Stop
Ramp, that
Operation Lion's Tooth
See, Ramp, I agree. Sabic did nothing.
and bring Cooper to Sabic
Oh wow.
using 2 teams. In San for 2 blue teams. We would have needed 2 blue teams no matter what.
Wow.
And then
Well, no, we only needed one team for this, didn't we? For what we ended up.
oh,
doing?
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And then we get to the same annual review, the same outcome there.
Well, I want to. Oh, let's
Was
open
there
this.
any more? Oh yeah, let's do this.
Let's
first.
look at that, and then I'll do my Sabic timeline.
Guess what? It's the
It's
lab.
the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah. A meticulous laboratory of the heart of Medusa research, vials, test tubes, various medical equipment. It looks almost benign in its cleanliness.
So if it's just get there, spend the cards, and you'd have had the genome.
We got burned, even though we saw all the burned stuff.
Yeah, could you hear me those?
Rough.
The doors.
Yeah. So in the last game, there were a lot of in the last version of this, there were cards that you could scratch. Remember?
Yeah.
The cards had scratch off. They got rid of that for this one. So if your funding would ever go above 10, let's see what would have happened there.
There was supposed to be cake there.
Nope, no cake.
So yeah,
It's a sticker.
What's that?
You hear a knock at the door. You rush to open it, but there's no one there. Staring at you is a single black briefcase marked with a New Zealand flag. What do? Open the briefcase or blow it up or ignore it?
We would have opened it.
I do like little briefcases.
You
full
open
of
the briefcase.
monies.
Inside, you find a stack of New Zealand pounds and a bag of valuable opals. At the end of this game, you have 6 additional budgetary units to spend. Destroy this card after the spend budget
oh wow,
step.
so we could have had as much as like 11.
If you blew it up, you would get you find smoldering currency and electronic surveillance equipment. The case was bugged. Immediately add these counters to you get 6 more counter.
Both were good.
But you get that's an insta ad.
Now,
yeah,
what if you ignored
that
it?
would have been great.
If you ignore it, you just put it in the reserve until you decide what to do.
Oh my gosh.
So if we had accepted Sabic when my alternate timeline started, that's when we would have opened box 5.
5.
There's one
Okay.
more.
Yeah.
A records room. Put the
Hello.
sticker over the records room in the Pearl compound. You have not found the records room. Place it when you do.
I think that was one of our objectives early on. So if we'd failed, we'd have opened that, I guess.
Wow.
That's the pity reward.
Yeah.
Pity.
231. Oh, wow. Intel inquiry discovered in your off-the-book dealings with SABIC. It's a serious violation of CIA methodology, but I understand. I know it seems absurd to dilly-dally in protocol, but unfortunately not before the inquiry. So basically, if we'd sided with SABIC, we'd have been punished by the CIA. Scratch one cover from each alias and each passport.
Oh!
Wow.
My chick would have died even faster.
34.
I will
Oh
say
my.
I am.
You could not find any allies of
Shocked.
SABIC who were willing to talk. They all seem afraid of him.
I'm shocked. Only just one.
And the last
burn.
one.
Yeah.
So this was the very last SABIC timeline entry. SABIC has done terrible things, but he deserves better than to be put down in a dark alley, so you talk to him. It's a near thing. More than once he comes close to proceeding with the injection. Finally, with a defeated bow of his head, SABIC puts down the syringe and releases Cooper. Before he's taken away, he provides a few final pieces of information on Pearl Compound. Scarred as he is and understanding what he went through, perhaps the CIA will not be too harsh. Cooper himself is delivered back to the CIA for debriefing and medical attention. You're told that, physically, you should make a full recovery. Mark this a complete. If you haven't done the Steel to Medusa genome, flip up 4 security tokens in the compound.
So not that much of a difference.
More or
Yeah.
less the same thing. Your theory.
Only that
Yeah.
we
So-
took him down versus they're taking him away, and Lord only knows
Yeah,
what's going to
just
happen
story
to him.
difference.
These are the, if you had failed, you would get new objectives, but we didn't fail any of these, so we never got to see them.
Mm.
This is if you have help from SABIC. Put this card in operations, check a box to ignore one restriction. This is some more intelligence that we never found.
On the Pearl compound.
Yeah,
Does it have the danger room word?
it does not.
I mean, we got
And
all the
this
dangerous
is-
stuff. We just ignored it.
This is like a weather outlook of the U.S.
Oh, maybe dispersal patterns of
That's
spores,
Okay.
wind. Yeah.
Just thematic stuff.
And then this is apparently another infiltration
yeah.
site that you would have had to go to
Finally.
if you had allied with what's his face. You would have
SABIC.
had to go here.
Oh, we'd have had to
Oh.
infiltrate our own headquarters. Very mission
Yeah.
impossible.
Oh,
And
that would have
then-
led you to wind instead of animals. Yeah.
This is the other objectives that if we had failed, we would have gotten these. What are these? Field reports. We never. Oh, SABIC's headquarters was infiltrated.
Yeah. Things we didn't do.
Oh, and then other restrictions. So these are restrictions we did not receive. We would have gotten restrictions no matter what result we did, I think.
Mhm.
It just depends which restriction. You may not do drive ferry unless you were in a safe house.
Oh. A team.
Wow.
A team.
Wait, what?
You can't move a team.
Okay.
Unless you're in a safe house.
Like, how do you
yeah,
get
that's
around?
crazy. You must discard an additional card to do the commercial flight action to a neutral city.
Mhm.
So it's like the blue, but neutral.
Yeah.
If we were arrogant.
You must discard an additional card to do the assemble teams action. That would have been hellish.
Mm.
You must discard an additional city when you do the build safe house.
If we were passive.
You may not assemble teams in Washington.
Too cautious.
You must be in Washington to do acquire targets.
There's oversight.
We got some pretty soft ones there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We definitely.
I
let
think
down
we
on
made the
those.
right decisions.
Mhm. Well, let's talk about all the decisions we made and the overall thoughts of what we thought of Pandemic Season 0 Legacy.
Yeah, I found this to be interesting. Like, I kept my one character for a long period of time, but I did go to the next one as we started kind of transitioning. And I think overall our like combination of thoughts about what do we do and where do we go and how do we move things appropriately, having already played together for other Pandemic 1 and 2, we kind of had that momentum. At least we kind of knew like how we wanted to move ourselves.
I think that, building off what you just said, in the other two games, or at least I remember in the first one, you had different people you could be.
Yes.
But it
But
was
you
a-
had to decide at the beginning of
Games.
each game.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, this person that I've been so long is so upgraded. Why would I ever pick one of these new people?
Mhm.
But this one, it really did give you a reason because you had to be that affiliation to be able to do certain quests. So that made you upgrade your other people too. And we really did find ourselves using all these different aliases. And I just think that's great.
I
Yes,
do
love
too.
it.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
that, I think, in a
I'd like to
previous
keep
wrap up.
this.
I want to keep
Yeah.
mine too.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I agree. I think it's clear that they heard that feedback from other legacy games, and this was a brilliant way of solving it. I have nothing but good things to say. I mean, I had a great time with it. I really do think this is probably the pinnacle of this game. Like, I think it's a great end to the trilogy. It's very Return of the Jedi. It's very. I mean, I don't know if we want to do the ranking of 1 to 3.
Yeah, go for it.
My ranking, personally, I would go 0, 1, 2.
Wow.
I think this was, so I've always said, like, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 had the better story, 2 had the better
was big for
mechanics. This had both. I think the mechanics were always changing, the story was always growing, it could go in different ways. For me, I tend to like the third thing in a trilogy because it's the payoff, and even though it's a prequel, I think this was the most satisfying experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very on the fence between this and 1 being
I'm the same way.
better. Like, I almost want to put 1 as my favorite only because it started out everything. It's what got us wanting to play Pandemic. We had so many like nail biting enders. Are we actually going to make it? It had that kind of get you into it. This one kind of alleviated all those issues we've had in the past, like with the changing characters and the option of, can we be just adequate enough to like get to the next round? Let's just try to keep motivating, keep moving. So I would go 1, 0, 2.
It's really, really close for me. This is a better game than those. But the storyline, which is so important in a legacy game, keeps 1 so close to 0 for me that I'm having trouble choosing. But I know where 2 stands, and not to say that it's a bad game.
Yeah.
It's just
it's hard to compare to either.
Right. It just falls short because it's not as good of a game, and the story also didn't quite live up to 0 or 1. I don't know. I'm in between. I'm still leaning towards putting 0 in the middle, but it's so close.
Ronald?
I'm not gonna say because I'm recording my top 10 legacy games, and I want you to come watch that. So.
Yeah. So find out.
But
what
I
that
will tell
is.
you, I like all 3 of these games.
Sure.
They are all 3. If I was doing my top games of all time, I would just say the whole trilogy because I would recommend you play the whole thing, just in the way that they came out. Play 1, then 2, and then 0. And I think this is a fantastic finale for the series. I mean, this whole the branch here at the end. I don't think we had that in either of the games.
All right.
Where you literally have 2 possible branching outcomes. You could play this again, and your last 4 months would be different if you had allied with Sabek. You could see that just so differently, and that was not in the other 2 games. So that certainly makes this one. That all the things Melissa said, everything Melissa said, basically we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
For me, I think part of the reason I put 0 above 1 is because with 1, there were those times that it just felt like a slog, which this never
Because we
did.
kept losing,
There were small moments where this was like,
but rare, and maybe that was just because we marathoned
it.
It's I think that, and also the sentimentality of the first, because we'd never done anything like that.
Yes.
That dawned a new era of legacy games. So I think when we think back fondly of 1, not to put it down at all, but part of that is that nostalgia of that, the discovery. Oh my God! Like, I still have a photo of you tearing the first card in the first legacy game, and you were so excited and scared, and we saved it all in little pieces because
now it's
like, oh, it's I'll never. When I played Betrayal Legacy with my group of friends who had never played a legacy game, I'm like, oh yeah, tear that up. Like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, just tear it up. They're like, I can't. So I just come on. And they're like, ah!
happening?
So I think for me, that's the reason 0. And early on I said I wasn't sure, but I think that's what took it over the top. I think this answered all those.
I think that's what changes my mind, because I'm so big into the nostalgia of a game. Even in my top 10s and things, a lot of my top 10s, as far as being favorite games, are for some nostalgic memory or moment or event. And I still have that memory of the end of the game on the first one, and the two of y'all's reaction, and just that mental image of like, oh my gosh, because there were so many nail biters, and it's like that, what's going to happen. And not to say we didn't have nail biters in this one, but it wasn't as many. And those nail biters
together, did we?
Literally running around. Like, I just have this image
we didn't have
of
that
but
in this one.
But I think that's what one kind of stands out to me. Is like, it was the first one we played, and there were those moments like, oh my gosh, is it going to happen? And it was multiple times. So.
It's because of that I have trouble deciding. I already decided that this is a better game if I were just to play them as games. But it's because of moments like that that I have trouble deciding what's on top.
And that's the trouble with ranking, is do you rank it objectively or subjectively? Is it,
I think in most cases it's going to be subjectively.
I try to be impartial. Just if I'm just looking at it as a game.
Depends if I'm giving opinions for others or if I'm giving my own, like just for me. Or what do I think others will think.
And see, I think if you were to play them in numerical order, if you played this first, I don't think it wouldn't be as satisfying. If for one, you wouldn't catch all the references. The story would be nice and follow through, but I think you'd be disappointed when you went to Legacy season 1 after this.
Yeah, I don't want to give any spoilers for Betrayal Legacy here, but there's a thing about Betrayal Legacy and the way the game ends and the way it sets up what's after that game. This did the same thing, but it's like it won't work properly if you don't already understand what comes after it. So it's like you have to have done one before you do this one. You don't necessarily have to have done 2, but you need to have done 1 before you do this one.
Because
we missed a big reference by not completing all 3 objectives in December.
Tell us, Ramp.
Well, we can read it right now. Steal the Medusa genome.
107.
Yeah, let's have a look at what we would have gotten.
All right, Ramp. Had we succeeded in stealing the genome, you obtained the Medusa genome. Remember, we're in a parallel timeline.
Right.
Yay! All 3 objectives. This weaponized strain is deadly, contagious, and according to Soviet data, incurable. You'll be sending the genome to the CDC the first chance you get. The Medusa plague must be isolated in deep storage. You destroy everything else in the lab before leaving, putting an end to Project Medusa. Information on Operations Lion's Tooth is in the records room. If you complete the objective Lion's Tooth, open door 41. Return the player pawn to the Pearl compound in Novosibirsk.
41.
You know what's crazy about it? I'm almost okay with
41?
it just being adequate.
The in-game card thing.
Because of how it builds.
Oh, it just changes the records
number
room.
1.
No, wasn't there like the in-game card that had all the different endings to read or something?
Our evaluation.
Yeah, our evaluation that said if you've done this or if you've...
I think they'll all just say, well, you could have done a better job.
Well, that's what he's saying. It was on that. If we completed both the things.
There, it's up there. That one that says At Last.
At last.
243.
243. Alternate timeline. The repercussions of 1962 will take a long time to settle. With the Medusa genome captured and Lion's Tooth stopped, the world continued normally. The final fatal Medusa sample lies in storage at the CDC, buried so deep that someone would have to blow up the entire building just to find it. Very few people know how close the world was to annihilation this past year, just as you and the CIA prefer it. Turn to entry 249, which is the one we read anyway.
Right.
Who blew up the CDC? Is that how pandemics start?
Well, see, poetically, I liked
the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I liked on the first one. It's all about
do you know what this says?
What?
It replaces this room right here.
The records room?
Yeah, and when you go there, you get to reveal the card that was under there.
What card?
Remember there was a card under here?
Oh, yeah.
The Sydney, Johannesburg question?
Oh, let you know where it is.
You get to reveal it.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's crazy. Like, poetically, I think it's better, like, not to say that I wouldn't have been ecstatic if we succeeded, but just being adequate, still not failing. The ending we got is poetically closer to how you remember Pandemic Season 1.
Exactly. I agree.
It's kind of got that Raiders of the Lost Ark, the arc, like everybody wins at the spoilers for Raiders of the Lost Ark. All the heroes win, but the arc kind of goes into deep storage, and you're like, oh, we're gonna have other movies. Like the world is still at risk, even though I feel kind of good. It had that Raiders of the Lost Ark feeling, just with medical samples. Ronald's hungry.
All right, well, that concludes our wrap-up of Pandemic Legacy Season 0. What did you think of that? Post that in the comments below. Let us know. Let us know all the decisions you made because, you saw what we did.
This is Travis of the iHeart Board Games crew.
Hey everybody, it's Ronald here. Not Roddick.
Not to sound too excited. Yeah! It's the day before we all will be meeting up in Nashville. I'm just ready to go. Time to get some games going.
We're stopping off for lunch at Dot Mud Tavern outside of Jackson, Mississippi, on our way to Pandemic Legacy Season 0 in Nashville.
Hello. It's about 4:30 in the morning. On Thursday, July 1st, we'll be convening in Nashville, which is where my last flight will go. And I'm excited, but it does mean I have to leave this girl behind.
I'm here at the airport and I'm just about to get on the plane. So see you soon.
I'm in the Austin airport talking to my phone. Gonna see the board game crew. Well, I'm here in a parking garage in Nashville for no particular reason, but whoa! It's Ronald from. Are you that guy from that movie, Must Love Board Games?
That's me.
Oh my God, I love that movie. So we are here. Yeah, we're here, Ronald. And what are we doing now?
We're waiting on Jesse and Melissa.
Classic. So we've arrived in Nashville. Who's that guy? He's setting up the mobile Heart Board Game studio at this massive table. So Jesse's getting us set up and we're gonna do our first stream tonight! Because we all know we haven't had enough pandemics lately. Looks like a lovely day outside in Nashville, but we are inside playing board games. Jesse's a lot taller than you may remember. Melissa is eating burnt Pop-Tart.
I loaded the dishwasher.
Good job. Is that part of your character's abilities?
Yeah, that's right.
We've been undefeated so far. Do you think we're going to keep up the streak?
No. I think we'll lose many times.
Many times. What do you think we'll make it through February undefeated?
No.
Okay, that's Ronald's prediction. Melissa, will we make it through February undefeated?
No.
Jesse.
We're going to win all of them.
So right now we are between plays of the month of May and the month of June. Everybody's just kind of hanging out. Ronald is doing a little bit of pre-work. He's got a lot of stuff. Spoilers, but if you're watching this, you probably already know that. We are right at the halfway mark of our Pandemic Legacy Season 0 campaign. We are so far undefeated and very confident about that. So we just figured out the most we will play the game at this point is 11 more times, or the minimum of 6. We will play it 6 to 11 more times. But right now we're gonna go have some Coops barbecue, and we're going to go get barbecue at Coops because what could possibly go wrong? All right, we are back for day 3. We are so far undefeated. At bare minimum, we are adequate. So I would like to point out for the historical record, though I'm sure Jesse will edit this out. Okay, gang, this is day 3. We just finished the month of September. We're going to dinner. How are we feeling?
Adequate.
So this is still the morning of July 4th, 2021. It is day 4 of our Pandemic Legacy Season 0 campaign. And Melissa and I are celebrating with mimosas. This is the return to form for the Gumbo gamers. This is Jesse making gumbo. What are we doing, Jesse?
Making gumbo.
Yes. Where are we in the course of playing the game?
You think I'm paying attention to any of that?
So as you can see, Jesse is always the optimist of our group. So Ronald, we're going into December. How do you feel?
Good.
You feel good? You feel confident? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you scared?
I took a pill this morning, so I'm fine.
We have finished successfully. We have more successes in this game than fails. We have more adequates than fails. No matter what happens in this last final month, we have done an excellent job. And we come now to the finale. Jesse's making gumbo, a return to form for the Gumbo gamers here on July 4th. Thank you for sticking with us.
That's a wrap for us, but we'll be back, of course, on Twitch playing more games. But until next time, the box
Is closed!
Bye-bye.